Tiny Tim, born Hubert Beatrice Kari, was in a freak show. A proud supporter of the Vietnam War, had 45 million people tune into his wedding live on television, where he was marrying a 17-year-old while he was 37, drank spinach juice, like the water from the cans of spinach, and so much more. But most of all, he was a musician, best known for his falsetto and his breakout song in 1968, Tiptoe Through the Tulips. He was widely popular, and then he wasn't, as he started to deteriorate into a creature. A creature, that's the best way to put it. If you want to know more about Tiny Tim, I highly recommend Dr. Hugo's video, Tiny Tim and the Greatest Album of All Time. It's really good. It's a fantastic summary of Tim and Tiny Tim Rock. But we're not talking about Tiny Tim Rock today. We're talking about the Tiny Tim Christmas album. An album that my friend found. You see, me and him were gonna take a bit of a drive over to a friend's house to play one-page rules for 40K. And, oh boy, before we left, he's like, Sam, I need you to look up something on Hoopla and rent this for our card ride down. So I'm like, okay, look up Tiny Tim Rock. And we listened to it, and it was a lot, and it wasn't great. It's not a good album. But here we are, you know.
Crimbus is for receiving.
While I received the Tiny Tim Christmas album, now you all will receive the Tiny Tim Crimbus album from me. I'm going to be borrowing a term from Dr. Hugo's video. It's very useful. I haven't really talked to him because, you know, I'm a small fry and he's a big boy. But it's very useful. Credit goes to him for this. Here's a tiny snippet to describe Tiny Tim's goblin voice.
So he ends up with a bit of a dead zone in his vocal range. Too high to sing with his normal voice, but also too low to hit confidently with his falsetto, which is why he's got that goblin tone going on.
As you can see, this is a very useful term, and I will be using it, and it will come up a lot. If you happen to see this video, I like your videos a lot. If not, this is a secret between me and all you viewers. In any case, let's talk about the cover, because oh boy, they got their most skilled shinobi to sneak up on Tim and ambush him with a camera, and then they took that picture and sent it to their most powerful 90-year-old editor to Photoshop and cut out really shitty stock Santas into it, as well as a Christmas hat. His nose is so large. This cover album art, it's a lot. Like a lot. I had to look at this a lot. And the more I stare at it, the worse it gets. What compelled them to do this? I mean, it sets expectations for what you're gonna get. I gotta give them that. Like, it really sets expectations. But boy, oh boy. My lexicon's not large enough to describe how both wonderful and terrible this is. This is something the great Cthulhu put in the minds of men to make them go mad. So, in the production of this album, Martin Sharp, an Aussie who adored Tiny Tim, an artist himself, flew him down to Australia, as he did a few different times, to record this album. Otherwise, not much is known about the making of this album, other than that it was released in 1996. And it is an official studio album! It's not a mishmash of old songs he made, no, he recorded these all with the intent of them going in this album. I'm sorry if I sound a little frazzled, but I've listened to this album perhaps 5 times, with very select songs up to 10 times each. And you know, that doesn't sound like a lot, until you've listened to the album once through all the way. Oh boy. You know what? Let's start talking about the songs themselves, shall we? New section. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is the first song in this album, and you know what? It makes me grin. Every time I started it and it just played, I've had a big old grin on my face. It's been good. You know, the falsetto in the beginning is a lot, but it has me giggling, unlike his falsetto later, which we'll get to, don't you worry. When he says glee, include that sound. But also, the major standout of this song is the Irish Santa.
Rudolph, Rudolph with your nose so bright, won't you guide me sleigh tonight?
Irish Santa is here, and it's a lot, and it's very out of place. It's a little jarring once you notice it. It's a very bold choice on Tim's part. And it does not set proper expectations for the rest of this album. You think it's just going to be a little bit of Irish Santa in Tim's falsetto. Certainly it's both of that, but let's just move on to the second song. All I Want for Christmas Is My Two Front Teeth, made in 1944 by Donald Gardner. He was like some teacher or something, and he wrote the song down and it became popular. Now, Tim is very familiar with old, obscure songs of all sorts, so of course he included it here. I was very unaware of this song, but I will admit, it's very, very Tim. This is a song Tim would like. Of course he has this in there, but goodness gracious, his fake lisp annoys me to no end. That's part of the reason why I have the shakes. The brass in the background, you know, the little tuba or oboe or whatever it is, it's a vibe. But when it's there and it's just him rambling to Santa where he's just going, I need my two front teeth, I need it's so bloody much. I really don't like this one. Well, let's move on to That's What I Want for Christmas. Now, so when me and my buddy first heard this going down, we thought the audio was messed up somehow, or perhaps it wasn't connecting to my car properly. But no, the audio's just mixed. Take a deep breather, Sam. The audio is mixed very strangely, where it's distant. It's distant. It sounds distant. It's quiet. It's far away. And it's Tim just kind of singing, sort of. He says some things, and it's this bizarro transition into the next song that it adds to the fever dream of it all, because you hear it and you it takes you a moment. Let's move on to the next song. I Saw My Mommy Kissing Santa Claus. Once again, another very Tiny Tim song, I will say. The falsetto goes goblin all throughout the song. Kind of like, a nuclear reactor going thermo. But let me say, I really dislike this song. Not normally, I think it's a fine Christmas song, but hearing it from Tiny Tim, it just feels, I don't want to say illegal, because that violates free speech, but something is very wrong about hearing Tiny Tim's falsetto in this song. It makes me feel like I'm going a little cuckoo. It makes me uncomfortable. It makes me feel like worms are crawling underneath my skin. It just feels wrong. And then the ending, where Tiny Tim just begins making kissing noises into the mic. I don't like this one either. White Christmas. Alright, this is the song where I realized, my second time listening through it, that I really like Tim's normal voice. It's fine. It's deeper. It's not bad, actually, Tim can kind of sing. Kind of. Actually, I really liked White Christmas. It was pretty good, But, the goblin within did climb out once or twice to croak out some lines. And also, I will admit, randomly hearing his ukulele in the background, whenever the song gets a little quiet, just hear him going doo-doo-doo on it, it made me laugh. It made me laugh. This song, more than anything, almost as much as the first one with Irish Santa, did make me chuckle. I didn't feel bad listening to this, it was a Dark Souls campfire. Blazing, giving warmth and radiance and niceness and light in a dark, grisly world, the world of Tiny Tim's Christmas album. This is a horrific cover, by the way, White Christmas, this song. And I will say the riffing in the middle's something. It's not that bad, though. And I will admit, despite the good praise I've given it, it seemed way longer than it was. 7 minutes instead of the 3 that it actually was. But you know what? That's acceptable. Maybe my dilation, maybe my perception of time was slowing down in order to prevent me from listening to more Tiny Tim, to give me that mental break I needed. The Christmas song. Oh, I had no clue what this song was. Right? I've never heard this before. And the suspense of the beginning, where it's just, the build-up to Tiny Tim finally belting out his lines, when it actually happens, the build-up is incredible. It got me. I wasn't disappointed. I was having a good time in this song. Not a bad time. I was having a good time. I was grooving. I was grooving a little bit during this song. I gotta admit. Oh, grooving. You know what? This one, This one was awesome. It had his normal voice a lot in it. The bo 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 dooba deep doop da. Just play that sound. It was pretty cool kicking in, I gotta say. Oh Holy Night. Fantastic start. You know, just Tim's falsetto and his ukulele. There's a noticeable, like, tremble or warble to his voice, and the ukulele, like, he's, like, strumming it, and it's going, and then suddenly it stops, and then he restarts, and it's sudden, and it's noticeable, and it's a little jarring. Maybe my ears have just been attuned to his ukulele, where I can pick them out in the middle of, like, normal fine music, just his ukulele doing the same lines over and over. Maybe I can just hear that now. Maybe that's just something I can understand intuitively, because... Anyway, something's really off with this song. In the ending, it's like this very sudden stop where it sounds like it was hard cut and there's like this little noise. And blessedly it transitions to the next song. Blessedly, it's over. It ends. This song wasn't good. It was very bad. But oh boy, the song next, Silent Night! It's off to a great start. Tim is really into this one. He's going. And there's a woman singing in the background, like, you know, oh! I have this sneaking suspicion that that's not a woman, and that's just Tim doing his falsetto in the background. Maybe that's just coming from me having to listen to all this over and over again? Who can say at this point, really? This song is bad. But then, holy fuck, the riffing in this song.
Silent night. Those words are true. For on one day, we get pompous and religious with great ornaments and great facades. But how many silent nights do we have in denying Jesus Christ the other 363 days of the year? How many times to those of us who put on false tears and profess a kind of reverence on one day are hypocrites, right in his name, professing his name, fornicating with children, fornicating with young girls, and professing his name, a hatred of races, a secondary class and a third-rate class. And yet, we put on our best faces on one silent night of the year. But our silent nights in professing Jesus Christ's name...
I mean, he's not wrong about that, you know, about people putting on airs and acting super Christian during the holidays. But who is this album for? I'd think kids, but maybe it's for his adult viewers? Him rumbling... I'm not sure what to make of this. Even in the car ride down, we had to stop and re-listen to this. It comes out of fucking nowhere. Him talking about, like, racism and molesting children. What the fuck? What the fuck? Tim! You married a 17-year-old live on TV? I don't know. Hearing preaching from Tiny Tim about these social issues is just... He's not wrong is the worst part, but still. His switch back to the normal song is flawless, too. And the clapping right at the end, he's like... What the fuck? What the... This track alone makes this the greatest and worst Christmas album to have ever been produced. Oh, come... All Ye Faithful medley. This is Christian rock, but with Tiny Tim. A wonderful combination, to be sure. Two of my favorite genres. And just 3 minutes in, I felt like I was going insane. It was a lot. And, like, you know, there were a few moments of voice cracking and him his voice doing things that really got me. And when the ukulele came in, I lost it. Every single time I hear that ukulele, it's too much. Okay, let's go to Rainbow Over the River. I hated this song. It's just Tiny Tim and his fucking ukulele again. And then it, hits and go, This song, originally, Rainbow Over the River, was made in 1936 on September 12th. And I gotta say, this song being written and made into a real thing was the worst thing by far to happen in September. What does that have to do with Christmas? Nothing! It's just awful! This song hurt me internally. It gave me necrosis, and palsy? Is that the brain hardening thing? I think so. It did that to me. This is the worst fucking thing I've ever heard. This falsetto freak show warbling, his wretched tune, has broken me. If that wasn't clear, let's just go on a mission, Bell. Bad start. The goblin has molted and cast off his shell of Tim, and just... his old form cast aside, he has reign over this song. He's the Krampus come out to ruin everything. What a friend we have in Jesus. The goblin's been unleashed. It's just the fucking goblin Krampus and his fucking ukulele. This is a horrific ending. Folks, listen. Tiny Tim didn't just record a Christmas album. He fucking inflicted it upon humanity. I hate this. And I wish I had picked a different video topic for Christmas. I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I'm Sideshow Sam!
Godspeed, Spider-Man. Godspeed, Spider-Man.